being Valentine's Day weekend, I thought it was going to be more crowded. It was not. It was Saturday versus being Sunday. Um, but yeah, so that was nice. The following day, we went to the beach with the kids, and the bird shit on my socks hat. And
Oh, that's bad.
to make it worse,
I can't tell the guys that but I don't know if a bird shit on the baseball hat is that good luck. I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe the Sox will win the series this year because of it.
And to make it worse, I touched it because I didn't even know it was on my broom. So I did like one of these, and it was looking like. And the nurse saw it, and she's like, "What is this? It looks like chutney." I was like, "Ah, shit." So,
Chutney.
yeah, it was just there was no. It was just that color looked green. But yeah, I mean, this week so far,
so you ate in the. Cause we're live now, so you ate in the parking lot in Beverly Hills and a bird shitted on you. That's been your week.
Well, no, well, yeah, I think that's a bit like compressing the events. I mean, Saturday was, eating at Fogo in the parking lot. Sunday was when the bird shit on me. I mean, subsequently, I've been able to, I guess, upgrade my bed after the trial period, so that was good. Didn't expect that. Yeah, so that was good, and I submitted an offer on something.
For a house?
Nah, for apartment building. For the first time. Since I've been out here, so that's good. I'm still in the way. I don't know if it'll get accepted or not. For a client. So so that's good. Yeah. So. And
how's the weather out there? Because it's like the ice planet Hoth everywhere else.
Look, man, I don't want to talk about it. I don't
mind. You can. I'll just live vicariously through you at this point because I don't think you'll ever be above 20 degrees again here. I don't know.
No, it's supposed to be 30. I think it's supposed to be in the 30s starting next week or. What is it?
Yeah, I know. I know.
I was just saying it's hope in sight is all I was saying. But yeah, right now it is what the hell it is 60.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, that's probably like typical for that.
For the fall, for the winter, whatever you call it. Yeah, winter's between 60 and 70. High 50s at night. Yeah, it's I don't like rubbing it in because I talk to people.
I understand. Like I said, you can rub it in with me. I'll take the warmth from you.
I'm not an asshole. That's not.
But I've been like I said, I've just been keeping myself inside. I ain't been doing nothing outside. I don't have to. So, and I'm pretty. Heat is pretty good in the house. So I'm good. But
it's something when you get a text from your old man and say this is the second worst winter he's ever experienced. He's like I don't agree with the move, but I understand it now. I was like, well, I guess that's progress.
Yeah. But I feel bad though for those folks down south, especially in Texas, man.
Oh yeah. Somebody posted fuck Ector or whatever the electrical commission in Texas is, and I guess their power grid. I guess the way it works is that it was they choose their electricity supplier based on who's the cheapest versus who is the the most reliable, and as a result, is 4 million people without power just because they didn't have a backup plan in case of inclement weather hitting Texas. And I think it's not Ector, it's called eCourt or something like that. I guess the Electrical Commission of Texas.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know who Justin Moore is, but I guess he's a black attorney. He's the big, I guess the well-known thing to tie him in with Chicago is he's trying to get Larry Hoover freed from jail. I guess that's one thing that kind of ties him into Chicago is he's trying to get him out of the Supermax in Colorado.
Right.
He had posted eCourt or whatever you call it, And I looked it up and I was like, damn, that is bad. Just, 4 million households. It's not even 4 million people. It's 4 million households, which means it's more than 4 million people. I mean,
right. I mean, and it's what the only thing I said, I feel bad for the people who having to deal with stuff like that they haven't dealt with before, but I hate that it's being politicized because everything has to be politicized. And
Republicans, the frozen wind turbines.
These dumbasses on Fox and these, talking about wind turbines, like
frozen wind turbines.
Yeah, like Texas is overrun with them. Like they're really gonna use that. Like they're really on that hippie technology down there.
Green, yeah.
Of course, they're using natural gas and all this regular stuff that we've been using. And they fucked up because they don't know how to deal with below freezing temperatures.
Yeah, and it's really bad because I don't know what's his name. The rapper Trader Truth had posted on IG. He mentioned that people have been like dying of carbon monoxide poison from sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's really awful. It's one thing being out of power, but I mean, I guess power if you're. Your heat is not gas. I mean, your furnaces, have some electrical component to them. So yeah, it's all bad.
Yeah, it's I mean, best wishes to all those folks down there, man. I got a couple people down there, but I haven't heard anything bad from them. So hopefully they doing well. But
people love red states because like the lack of regulation.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's times like this where you be like, yeah, I'm happy I don't live in a damn red state.
Right. And then it's like, yeah, right. At a point like this, you need the government to look out for you. You need somebody to look out for you, especially if you don't know how to do better yourself.
You don't need to be in a place with deregulated energy markets. I mean, it doesn't have a contingency place and plan. Yeah. So when things like this occur, I mean, it's just a hot ass mess. So yeah, definitely feel for those people. I know that wasn't the premise for the show. So,
well, the premise for the show is that we only got 54 minutes to record. So,
right, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you were talking about like the food thing. I didn't know what else you wanted to.
Well, no, I mean we like this is gonna be a little hodgepodge show.
Oh, okay.
But the premise of the show that when I came on to StreamYard earlier, I found out that there was only 54 minutes left that we could record for this month. Now this is like I'm letting y'all behind the curtain a little bit, but this is every month because we're on a free service with StreamYard, we get 20 hours of recording or streaming, and it rotate. It rolls over at the 18th. So this is the 17th. So I actually could have pushed the show back tomorrow, but I kind of like the idea of just doing a short show today because I'm really not recording any other time this week.
Okay.
So I'm just like we could just, and plus I knew it was just gonna be me and you anyway. So I just figured like we could just roll through some stuff. And just like I say, just a hodgepodge show. Just talk shit for a little bit and be in and out. But tomorrow will roll back to 20, so we'll have the 20 hours again. But I like a couple months. Like, well, they sort of warn you early, and it's like, okay, I could measure. I usually measure it like a week or two out, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna come to 20. But this is the closest I've ever come to bumping up against that. But that's why I got the support banner down there. So if you see, you can support this in these endeavors that we're doing, this podcast, and maybe in a month or two we can start using the paid version, or maybe not even StreamYard. There's another service that we may start using pretty soon. But
upgrade it so we can get some nice backgrounds.
Yeah, that too. Because I'm not, I'm not chasing bad money with good money or good money with bad money. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I got it.
But Yeah, but it's cool. We just like doing a little bit today. And yeah, I want to talk about that food stuff. But have you seen Judas and the Black Messiah?
So yeah, the wife has the wife says wait for me to see it. She can never stay up to see it. So that's why I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, like HBO be hitting me in the ads often.
Yeah.
Once they get your email address, they plant the ads in.
Sure.
So they can see, keep inundating you with it. So no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking if you had seen it, we would probably anchor the show with that. But we'll see about that for next week then. But
yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'm behind on that one.
Yeah, it's
what
cool.
was I was gonna say I didn't. So long story short, I haven't seen I wanted to also check out the Haitian Jack thing, but I've read and saw enough stuff on him to know that he's a interesting dude.
I watched. They showed 2 episodes of that. It's the series Hip Hop Uncovered on FX. We might talk a bit about that in the upcoming weeks too. But yeah, it's about for those who don't know, it's about like these shot callers, these sort of mysterious figures in hip hop who I say they supposed to be really about that life, as it were. And they've been in the streets, but they also have an outsized influence within the rap industry as well. And the show was interesting. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole first 2 episodes because there's a lot of stuff that was on TV. I sort of channel surfing on Friday, but it does for what I've seen, it does a pretty good job in those first 2 episodes. It does one thing that I kind of wish it didn't do, which is it talks about all the subjects in each show. It seems like it doesn't devote 1 hour to each subject.
Oh,
sort of like how it's sort of like how we've gotten used to seeing series like that, where it's like, this week is about this guy and this week is about this person, but I don't know. I think it's kind of a risk that they're doing it because it hops back and forth in a lot of
multiple storylines in each episode.
Yeah. And some of them are tied into each other. Like some of the folks, like Haitian Jack, is sort of tied in apparently with some of these this brother and sister duo from Queens that they talk about, and it kind of threw me off. It kind of throws me off a little bit that they're doing it that way. But at the same time, they also are telling like a wider picture story about society in the 70s and 80s, the society that these people came up in, and how they were affected by living the lives that they lived before they got into the streets and before they got into entertainment. And it makes these it talks about just the way that music and crime has sort of been long intertwined and stuff like that. So it's interesting. I'm gonna try to watch those whole 2 first episodes before the next ones come on Friday, and we'll see about that. But the subjects themselves are pretty interesting. Like I say, Haitian Jack, Big U is a guy I heard a little bit about on the West Coast. Like the brother and sister from Queens I haven't known about. And the other subject is Trick from Detroit, who I was like, oh, Trick, but I know they started talking about him. They talked about the time apparently when he ran Rick Ross out of Detroit. Which is like, okay, that was I remember that was some gangster shit. But
where were you when Big Meech brought the Tigers? Trick brought the Tigers.
But I never thought of Trick because and remember last week we was talking a whole lot about Detroit hip hop with Finale,
and that would have been nice to
Trick. No, Trick didn't really come. I had Trick in my head because I was thinking about the show. And I was thinking about maybe bringing him up, but Finale didn't really bring him up on his own. So I was like, I don't know, but I'll see how the series I'll see what the series says about him. But I say I respect dude. I ain't got no I ain't saying nothing bad about him. I just need to hear a little more,
He ran Ross out of Detroit. That should probably tell you. That should probably tell you. That should probably tell you enough.
Yeah. I mean, look, I said that was some gangster shit. I say that.
Yeah, I mean, for someone of his perceived persona, or however, or his persona, that should, Ross, and Trick being able to get him, have him escorted out. That should tell you enough about him. It's yeah.
Ross done been through some shit though, man. He got shot at by some GDs from Carolina, and he then had strokes and seizures and shit. Like, God bless him, he's still here though.
I mean, I think. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say karma is a motherfucker. I think that there's, when you live a certain type of life, you're gonna rub people wrong, or you pretend to live a certain type of life, or you project to live a certain life. You're gonna rub people wrong. I was just thinking about somebody who probably got 9 lives, kind of to that point. I was thinking about, and I've been listening to him a fair bit lately, is Gibbs, and I'm like, how is this dude even still like, you just you understand why he's on the West Coast, or why he stays a lot on the West Coast, just because his past life.
I don't think he'd have got away spending much more of his time than he had to in the Gary Chicago corridor. Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know what to call him. Like the Omar rap or something. I mean, it's just like.
And I don't think he would have. I don't think he ever would have collaborated with Mad Lib if he was still stuck out here too. So that's a good thing that he got to LA.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, because that Mad Lib project. I took a deep dive into it because I hadn't really listened to it before. Like I would get to Palm Olive, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but then like so much more of the CD is so good, and it's just I don't know. Like I listened to like I think Education like several times, Cataract several times. What the hell is the other one? Practice. I don't even live that life, and Practice makes me feel pains for that, just that it resonates something well, even though you don't even have that life where you're in between baby mamas and stuff like that. It's funny. Yeah. Somebody posted this meme on IG. It was 2 young girls, and somebody said that if you have the same parent, if all your siblings got the same parent, that's what's up. And then she said, why don't you just, the other person responded and say, why don't you just say your daddy didn't have bitches? And I was just like, I was just like, I guess I'm that guy. But like I said, it was just such a thing that kind of like made me think of that.
I wasn't that. I'm not that guy.
The Gibbs, like the Gibbs mindset is like he's like all over the place. Like and you read about his story. It's like catching a case in France, and it's just.
Yeah, and he one of your guys, man.
He wanted me. He's trying. He's like a day. I wouldn't even. I think Dave Chappelle probably is a step ahead of him as far as and identifying faith. Gibbs to be like, I don't forget how to. What did he say? Like I go to the mosque, but I still serve your potato Bumpy Johnson style. And it took me a minute to catch that reference. I was like, damn. It was like the potato silencer reference. I was like, yeah, he's cold. I mean, yeah, he's Gibbs. I mean, he ain't a saint. I mean, I don't listen to Gibbs with the expectation of getting something fulfilling. I mean, well,
you sort of said that last week too, but I think the thing with Gibbs and the thing that I think puts him in the realm of artists from the past, MCs from the past who did street shit or alluded to or based it street shit in their music, there still is sort of there's regret, there's there's emotional depth and complexity to their music. It's not like they're just, I think
bragging about it.
They're bragging about it or being, just completely nihilistic in ways that like some of the younger rappers are, where they just are saying, shooting off anything and pissing on their pissing on their enemies' graves and smoking packs named after their enemies or whatever, like Gucci or whatever.
Gibbs?
But I like with Gibbs, there's always been like there's always been the whole thing about him wanting to break away in certain ways from what he's done or having a moroseness to having to continue to do things if he's speaking in present terms, and he it's just I listen to Gibbs and I feel the same way that I do listening to Scarface and listening to Wu and listening to when they talk about artists like that, when they talk about the darker sides of their lives and stuff, and I think he fits in that tradition.
I feel like I see that with Gibbs when he maybe talks about like his relationships with his baby mama or his daughter, things like that. There's like certain like more towards maybe some of his past treatments and interactions with women. Because I think he mentioned that on like I said, he mentioned that on Practice. And he had the Donnie, and which made the song even more powerful is they had the Donnie Hathaway sample playing in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, but like those are the songs where you do feel like he has, so I don't say a soul, but some sense of, I guess regret about some of his actions. But do I feel like that when he's talking about how you feel like, to anybody he considers another guy, somebody who he considers an enemy, or somebody he's had interactions with in the past? It don't seem like when he's talking about, staining somebody, it doesn't seem like he feels regret about that. I mean, he just talks about it as he.
Yeah, I think I could. I can't. It's probably harder to think of examples with that, but I think. I do think. Go back to the first Mad Lib collaboration.
I haven't listened to that one. No, so that's one I need to listen to.
Yeah, you definitely should listen to it, but. Go back to Bandana and wait, not mixing up.
No, you Pinata.
Pinata. I'm mixing up. And the third was supposed to be Montana, apparently, but Pinata has a couple songs, and matter of fact, the first one. Nix is a good example. I gotta sell a nickel bag. Except that's kind of like some old Tupac shit. And the song with Scarface is probably the best example of him reaching into his psyche and his history and talking about why why he's been the way that he's been, and the way that he's really been affected. There's another song prior to all that called the it's not the. I have to look it up, but it's thus something. I got to look it up, but that's a great song too. But he has a lot of one-off songs, and the project too. That a lot of this too has to do with him doing his time that he did in Europe. I think it's You Only Live Once.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's a great project to listen to if you want to get emotional complexity from Gibbs, because the Mad Lib projects in particular, Bandana, he's more like, cause he's back in a place where he's secured himself, and he's like he's more telling stories and more like he's more being more of an entertainer than anything. But those earlier projects, he was just coming off of the stuff that happened in Europe, and he was in a different place. So
yeah, I'd
advise you to listen to those.
Yeah, I'll listen to You Only Live Once, and I'll listen to the Pinata, at least the whole album. Yeah, because he, I don't know, like Gibbs, like you used to hear them old like the old gun shot sounds on like tracks in the late '90s and early 2000s. I guess up until about 10 years ago, you hear them on every damn mixtape.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, every time I hear Gibbs rapping, that's what comes to mind. It sounds like the gunshot. It's just because they're like.
Speaking of that, you know who's gotten together in the lab recently?
Cool.
DMX and Griselda. So you talk about gunshots on the records.
That's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be nothing but gunshots on the record.
I mean, it's just gonna be, yeah, it's just gonna be, that's gonna be an interesting, project. But yeah, but mentioning Griselda, like I said, I mean, Gibbs. I don't know. Gibbs is definitely in my top five. Top five, and then of course, I don't even want to say it's all Griselda. I probably, of course, Conway, of course, Benny. I mean, for me, West Side is West Side at times is a, what's that called? An acquired taste. I mean, at times, more for not necessarily. I don't want to even call it, but yeah, he acquired taste at times. I mean, and this,
I think
Scott.
West Side has. Yeah, I can see you saying him being acquired. I think he has good taste though. I think as far as his beats, his stuff, the way that he structures his projects, his solo projects in particular, I think he's really good at that. He's not a great rapper by any means. He just does his thing on his records, and like some people love it, some people don't love it as much, but
he kind of reminds me like a boom bap Wayne. I don't know how to explain or what he, his.
Well, see, I would put him more as babyish, because baby would say that he just talks shit on records. So that's what I think that West Side pretty much does. He's better than Baby because he can actually do. He got some diversity in his records. Like he could do a story rap. He can do just a rap where he's talking shit. He's a little better than Baby, but they both are very much rooted in their particular personas on record, and they don't really differentiate from that or delineate from that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but it's it's Gibbs, West Side. I mean, you throw Benny in there. Menace Sky. I mean, it's still more. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to go with I don't know, create whenever he puts out, whenever he puts out a project.
Yeah.
Man, as far as just my kind of like top rotating five. I mean, as far as more kind of the newer school. I mean, of course, there's the old school staples that I'm not mentioning offhand, but like the Thoughts and the Moses and Quali's of the world. But I mean, but just like the last top, guys that came out in the last decade, it comes out to that five. And I mean, about people who are just seriously about lyricism and whether it comes out good or bad, whether it comes out positive, correction, whether it's they talking with something positive or whether it's just murder, death, kill.
Well, the dope thing is right now is that at no point ever in hip hop have you had more people of different ages rapping and being taken seriously. Like this came up a bit over the weekend because Jay was on the music inspired by Judas and the Black Messiah. It's not necessarily a soundtrack, but because they wouldn't use none of the music in the movie actually, but it's basically Def Jam put together an album that for as part of the marketing.
We a little bit with the No Name thing.
No Name was gonna be on a song with Smino and Saba because they're a little group together, and she said she won't do it because she didn't like how the movie was. But anyway, but Jay didn't care. Jay doesn't care. Jay likes the connection with him in Hampton because he was born
birthday, death day,
he's definitely gonna ride. He's definitely gonna utilize that. But no, it's a pretty good song. Him and Nipsey Hussle on it. They got I guess a verse from Nipsey from The Great Beyond. No, but and people was talking about how dope Jay is on the track, and he's 51 and all this and that, and it's like it's weird because hip hop is the only place where writers don't get people don't get the idea that writers typically get better as they get older. At least when you get to your 40s and 50s, writers typically are better than when they are in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
So hip hop is the only place where people don't understand that. But people are like, Jay, but because given how hip hop is, people look at Jay and they're like, oh, he's 40, he's 51. And I saw another post that, lined up like, Jay is 51, Black Thought is 49, Nas is 47.
And they the best. It's funny you brought up like education, like not to go back to the Gibbs, but like that I listened to that shit like 7 times yesterday, and I just love the cadence of
Black Thought is. But go ahead, but we'll give
him and Most. I mean, Most
Most is late 40s too.
Yeah, I mean, Most is like a year under Thought, and I'm like just. Just the cadence, the setup of that song. It was like I mean, I don't know from a personal standpoint. I felt that I might just leave. That's just or throw or start a fire or start a fight. I'm like that song. That part of the song.
You haven't heard the first Thought song with Gibbs, have you?
No.
Oh,
God. I listened to that.
Extradite. Look it up. Extradite.
I'll look it up. I listened to that. I had to make a 30-minute run yesterday, and it was like I listened to that song like over and over again just because the cadence of it is so dope. But yeah, I mean that's the whole point. Is like there's not that many people to with this ageism thing in hip hop. There's really not that many damn people nice right now under 30. I mean, if we're gonna be honest about it, it ain't that many that at least well known with limited with. I can count on one hand maybe how many people.
Well, I mean, I don't know if maybe there's a slowing of the production, the production, I should say. Maybe you could maybe argue that there's a slowing of the production of rappers under 30, of quality rappers under 30, because I think more so in this age than in previous ages, people who get into hip hop for either one or two things, they don't follow, they don't study enough of what great hip hop was before them, or they just are into beats and shit, and they make beats, or they make beats for them to rhyme on, which most likely are shit, but because they don't study hip hop before them. But yeah, I can see what you said, but I think there are enough good rappers under 30. It's just that there has to be room for the older guys now because they're not going anywhere, and nor should they.
I mean, I don't know.
20 years ago or 30 years ago, you didn't have to worry about rappers in their mid 40s or mainly in their 40s period. But now you got rappers who are in their 40s who are, genre-defining stars, and they're still staying around. So they're going to suck up a bit of the oxygen that's there.
Yeah, but if you're looking at, and I'm sure you guys Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever it is, the top people, a lot of the top songs still, or the space on the top, whatever you want in the top 40, it's still the younger guard.
True.
I mean,
yeah.
And I can't.
And I mean, and look, some of them can rap, but some of them it's just a taste thing. I know a lot of them don't suit your taste, but some of them can rap. It's just a matter of the fact that they're reaching who they're reaching. They're reaching their generation.
Yeah. Like kind of like that post. Who was that post that you had sent me on Facebook about? Is okay. how equating NWA with drill, and I was like, yeah, well, NWA don't make you need a reach for Advil once you listen to that shit versus
Yeah.
a drill song. I mean, that's just
Well, that's aesthetics again. I think that discussion sort of comes from again the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack, as it were, where you have drill artists on the record, and there were people on the album, I should say, and there are people who I guess Evan Moore put a post up of a story that he wrote about the soundtrack, and people were getting the details about who's on the album on the soundtrack, and they saw that certain drill artists on, and they're like, well, these guys are making music that specifically goes against the ideas and the and the standards that Fred Hampton and the Panthers upheld.
right.
And and that's where that discussion really stemmed from. And a friend of ours, Sean Davis, put up the whole thing about NWA. I think what he was saying was that NWA has been looked at as a groundbreaking group, and a group who represent a certain who get a certain amount of artistic. They're upheld in a way artistically, and I guess he's trying to explore. I guess he was trying to see, why would that get a certain amount of be upheld in a way when a lot of that music was comparable in the way that it exploited violence and violent imagery and sexual misconduct and all type of negative things, but they pretty much got the pass of saying where they were just telling it like it is. They're just being just repping the streets or whatever. And whereas these kids, he's saying that these kids today are pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of a nuanced answer than that, and I think it's more of an answer for me like a Gibbs. Yeah, NWA was nihilistic to a certain extent. Gibbs is nihilistic. What separates a Gibbs and an NWA from the Young Boys is technical skill. And and that's what it is, and that's where I stand. Like, so yeah, I can listen to. Let's go with we could go with I Ain't the One. We could go with a bitches. All these are very nihilistic songs, but there was, look, even if it wasn't in the rap, it was in the actual production of the song, of the beat, but doesn't exist in a lot of damn drill music or really any of it. And it's like I've tried to listen to like some drill music, and it's a lot of it just ends up not really having, it doesn't. It's hard to find a box to check off where there's redeeming value for me. I just unless you're just talking about like maybe some of them got good production, right? That's maybe the only thing that I get. Okay, this production may be a little bit interesting on this song. Yeah. What they talking about? Is it any skill? Is there any substantive value? Is it any technical skill? In a lot of cases, for me, the answer is no. There are exceptions to that rule. You got guys, you got the little bibbies of the world, because one of the things that I watch, and I'm pretty sure the landscape has changed since then, but I had to watch back when I was in grad school. I had to watch The Field. Don't ask me why.
The documentary, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure the players have changed some because some of them ain't alive no more. Yeah. But I have at least a basic understanding of who is who in the part of their industry, at least at that time, that period in time. So I know, but yeah, the most of them, there wasn't nothing special about them. So are you gonna compare them to people who had technical skill to a Dr. Dre? Are you gonna compare them to an Eazy-E? Are you gonna compare them to a Yellow Boy? Are you comparing them to Cube, Ren? Who are a Ren and a Cube who's probably in the damn near everybody, or at least Cube's there, everybody's favorite rapper is some part, on some level. And yeah. I'm like, no, or Dre, no. I mean, you're not. I mean, if you don't care for anybody else in the group, those two people alone. I mean, the whole damn West Coast music career, you know, for the last 20 damn years, plus Eminem wouldn't even exist without Dre putting his finger in it.
But see,
On his,
that's an advantage though, Dave. And I kind of mentioned that in the string as well. They have the advantage of having made history that has succeeded them. And we, as being that we came along the way that we came along, we look up to those guys in a way because they're predecessors to us. Whereas, I'm not gonna look at anything that Lil Bibby or G Herbo or King Louis or whoever these do. I'm not gonna look at them what they do the same way that I look at King Von or whoever. I'm not gonna look at them the same way that I look at NWA, because NWA was a group that is a bedrock of my childhood. Whereas these guys are just youngsters who have come along, they're latter day dudes who've come along since then. And regardless of how much they derive what they do from previous or not, I can't look at them and be in awe in any way, and I can't look at them and say, the fact is, they have influenced. Like we've had conversations about this before, like with Chief Keef. Unfortunately, he has influenced a lot of people, but and the thing is, those people who he influenced, they're going to carry on more and more of a narrative of hip hop in the future. So they're going to be able to, add perspective that, that is like, okay, when 2012 came along, this is what happened prior to Chief Keef, and this is what happened after. And you have to look at the impact of what happened after, and that's going to be stuff he's going to be attributed to. Just like in 88, 89, there was a pre-NWA and a post-NWA, and we lived in that era.
Well, I'm gonna. So I didn't grow up with NWA. I didn't get an NWA album until I was in high school. So you're talking about damn near 10 years in between when they began their career and damn near between the end of their career, because they only lasted as a group for about 3 damn years. So I think and then even after that, then even another 15.
But you still lived in that post NWA, like the artists who are influenced by NWA are numerous.
I get that, but what I'm trying to say is that I didn't pick up NWA until a decade after. I mean, to be candid with you, I doubt motherfuckers gonna be picking up, Chief Keef's, album from 10 years ago later with the same level of reverence. And on top of that,
maybe not with the same level of reverence.
And
pick it up.
And second one, making a damn movie about his ass another 20, or another 10 years after that. So
God help him if he's in a position to even make a YouTube video about himself.
I think that's really what's telling. I mean, but
that's not necessarily attributable to quality of music. That's something that Dre and Q were able to utilize off of utilizing their initial breakthrough in the business. They utilized careers over the next couple decades that allowed them to get in a place where they could produce a movie about themselves.
And a third thing, and also they did have the song that they're known for was they pointed out a really big issue that was going on at the time, and that was the mistreatment of African Americans by the police. And they were the first person, and I've heard drill songs, they fuck ops, fuck this person, and I have never heard them articulate what's the social issues at large.
I'm not going to argue with you there. Yeah, there is no drill. Look. Yeah, even
the FBI has not written a report. FBI has not written a report on them saying, we need to stop these niggas.
Well, even beyond that, yeah. But we don't know that necessarily. But even beyond that, you can ask the people who really fuck with drill. Okay, is there a drill? The message. Is there a drill? Straight Outta Compton? Is there a drill Black Steel and Hour of Chaos? Is there a drill Paid in Full? They have no answer. So that's what kills me about people.
They're not gonna know what the fuck. They, in many cases, outside of Straight Outta Compton, they probably not gonna even know the motherfucking albums you talk about to even have a frame of reference,
or even the songs. I mean, even I'm talking. I'm talking particularly just singles. I'm not even talking about whole projects.
Unless they heard them like on VH1 and like the background or some shit like that. They may know a sample where some shit they may have been like they may know a sample. Are they gonna know the actual song? No. I can already get so they won't even be able to answer you with an equivalent because they don't even have
okay, well I will jump. I'm just saying. Now Herbo did have an album where they remade the cover to Follow the Leader. So I'll give, and that was the only. Unfortunately, I still haven't really heard that album, but that was the one time I was like, I might actually listen to this because
that's probably
because of because they specifically they made the album after Follow the Leader, and maybe just thought the cover was dope, but I don't know. I would like to think that he heard some stuff on that maybe he has some reference to Rakim. And he could, maybe he could at least have some discussion about that with, I don't know.
And I think for me, the thing is, if like the drill scene ended up like if the drill scene came somewhere, no offense, somewhere like out of the South, somewhere where there wasn't a historic like musical richness. And in just hip hop,
historical.
No. I'm not talking about. I mean, more like we're like rap. We're like just kind of like we're just. I don't know. Just kind of the type of hip hop that's come out of Chicago is the point I'm trying to make. If that was the argument, right? If they just made it like they like drill was created out of a desert, like out of nothing, like there was no musical influences from them to.
It kind of was though, because. If the guys who make it don't allow them give themselves, I know what you're saying. Like geographically, they were close enough to artists who have made certain things that should have informed them better. But if essentially you shut yourself off from the entire, not only the world but your city, and you're making what you make within like a 3 or 4 block radius in your neighborhood, and all you doing is feeding off of what you got from each other, what you're getting from your guys or your gang, then yeah, you gonna make certain stuff that is homogenous and not really referential to anything else. And the thing is, some people get off on that. Some people, like we've talked about this before, like certain writers and certain record producers and stuff, or people in the music business, they looked at that stuff. It was like they looked at it like it was Gorillas in the Mist or something. Like there was some sort of foreign thing that was developing that was just so fascinating. They had to get it off. They had to jump into it and show it to the world. But to us, who grew up close enough to these people and who understood who these people are and understood the context and where they come from and why they're doing the things that they do and why certain things are, thrusted upon them socially, it's just like, okay, this is just stuff that doesn't measure up to stuff that came before. But for other people, it's just something to be exploited. And that's why that stuff has gotten pushed out like it has been within the past 10 years to the non-benefit of better, more traditional or more, dynamic hip hop.
Yeah, I don't care if if you want to be on the forefront of a new art style, but I think the issue at hand is that there's no foundation, there's no following, there's no like foundation or structure that's kind of that's nuanced, for lack of a better term. It's all real. It's all very basic. It's based on basic materialistic and violent premises. And that's just, for me, there's nothing there to just like have me listen. I don't know. I don't. It'd be like listening to them be like if Cheesecake Factory was in the middle of the damn hood. Like if Cheesecake Factory was on 79th Street. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like in their small world, life is glamorous, but at the same time, outside the their door, immediate door is hood. I mean, it's yeah.
Like you say, a cheeseburger, a Cheesecake Factory would clean up on 79.
Well, yeah.
but it's not the height of cuisine.
No, it's not the height of cuisine, but for them, the ostentatious jewelry or whatever they're driving, to them that's the high life. But they haven't necessarily scaled or transcended from where they at. And the only time when they do get out of their environment is because it's for their own safety. I mean, it's not like it's because I'm trying to necessarily better myself. It's because I got to make sure that dudes I shot at around the corner or talk shit about on the record ain't gonna come kill me next week. I mean, right. I mean, it's not like, it's like I'm not moving out to the suburbs or wherever because I'm trying to be, because I'm trying to move up. I mean, I just don't want to get killed, like, from people I'm talking shit to. So, so it's an interesting. So yeah, but I don't know. I guess while it's always good to have perspective on these people, I don't really have a whole lot. It's hard for me to have reverence for a culture that goes based that when you have influences, not even influence, you have people you can take influence from in the past, and you're just like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna do something completely different. And it's sometimes that brings about something new that is worth. But the
punk rock.
Like, look.
Yeah, that's why I was going.
I mean, being a punk rock, a hip hop is. I think even with punk rock, what happens in punk rock is that when people died, it was mainly because of being self-destructive. Yeah. I mean, indirectly it's being self-destructive too, but at the same time, it's like no one's getting there. No one's dying because somebody talks shit about them on Twitter or on a record, or on YouTube, whatever it is. And a punk rock group. I mean, they dying because they overdose on heroin. It's not because, retaliation.
Johnny Rotten was beefing with
Sid Vicious or whatever.
Yeah. Or the Ramones were shooting at Talking Heads or something like that.
Oh yeah, or Clash or whatever the hell. Point is, like I said, I think that's the whole thing of it. Is
Blondie. Blondie was licking shots at Lou Reed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. None of that exists. It stayed within music. So not only are you staying within the realms of music,
a lot of that is based on other shit though. That other shit that. It unfortunately, like we got to wrap up in a minute, but like it's the whole. I always go back to what Kweli said in Respiration, like the abnormal normality. The whole aspect of that. Like they grew up and were placed in a society that It rewarded certain things and held up certain things and prioritized some things and discredited other things, and and a lot of it has to do with just the way that they came up and what the world that they were born into.
Yeah, I think to that point, I think that a part of the hip hop community is that it's not like basketball. I mean, it's not meritorious based upon a certain level.
We got a little bit.
Yeah, I got you. I keep it short. Point is, most of who people were getting deals now a lot of times because of shock value, as we talked about with what's my man named Little Uzi and putting the fucking diamond in his head. I mean, it's not necessarily based upon technicals. It's based upon gimmick, and it's based upon shock value. It's who's getting the most attention. Music. Yeah. Industry is a system that rewards people based upon that, versus being good at something. So I think that's a part of the problem. Really, I don't even know if it's the drill rappers themselves. It's about the system that rewards them for doing what they're doing, for being shocking.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's not, you know, there's very little to any, artist management and or artist cultivation before they are let out into the world. Like artists used to be cultivated before they were actually released, and they, you want you if artists if you wanted to have an artist have say something, you made sure that they were adept at saying it or at least playing it, getting it across in their music a certain way. But yeah, it's not it has been that way for a while. It's just been like, if we see something that we can market and exploit, we go throw that shit out there.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to see like we. I don't know. I don't know what this thing is saying now. I don't know. Technically, we're still on YouTube. And that Freddie Gibbs song I tried to think of earlier is called "The Hard."
Oh, the heart. Okay.
The Hard, yeah. But I don't know. But
That's on the first that's on Pinata.
No. That's on an earlier project than that.
Okay.
But I'm
Yeah.
sick of talking about. We always talk about drill music and some shit.
I don't know. I think we kind of slipped into it. I think it's just I was just using it as a comparable to someone who talks, who raps about, who's kind of a nihilistic viewpoint on things.
Yeah,
And still figures out a way to do it good. Like, I mean, it's the difference between, if you eat fast food, you want to eat fast food. You want to make sure it tastes good. I mean, it's like eating, I don't know, drill music is like eating cold fast food. Like, like it's not, it's already gonna keep, the bad for you. You want to make sure you want to have it while it's its best. I don't know how to, the way to articulate it. Yeah, if I'm gonna eat bad, I want to eat bad food that tastes good. I don't want to just eat bad food that is, if I'm lucky, nourishing on a real basic need. I don't want to eat White Castles.
Yeah, most people don't really ask that much of music. They really don't. That's the thing. Like if more people ask more of music, we probably would get more out of music for the most part. But most people don't really care that much about.
Well, no one's. I mean, but the issue at hand is like no one's buying it. I mean, if everybody's just getting, if it's based upon, streams and shit. What's?
Yeah, well, that's the industry. That's how the industry has gotten. I'm talking about we're talking about what motivates artists to create and what they want to put out. That's if artists were pushed to say more. And I think, and actually, more, we've gotten more from these kids, from more kids in the past couple years than we would have got had there not been any type of movement in society to address social ills. Like if it was like if this was like the Bush era, we wouldn't have got anything from anybody. We just would have been moving along, and it'd been, whoever gets the most attention wins. But I think actually in the past year,
you mean Bush Jr.
Bush Jr. and okay, Bush Jr. That is what I was thinking. But yeah, definitely more Bush Jr. than. But even in the first Bush era, you had a lot of better music. But but the biggest artist at the time was Hammer and Vanilla Ice. So Vapid is as Vapid does. It's one way or another. But so but getting back to my point, like I think a lot of kids are more in tune with societal ills, and some are just better able to speak on those things than others. Some people, like I say, they prioritize certain things. Some people don't. Like I saw yesterday on PNV, this one of the young cats today, Moneybag Yo, put out a tweet saying that the pandemic has been good for some folks. And it's like that's the type of thinking that you have. You know, it's a myopic way of thinking because he essentially said that because he's apparently made a couple million since the pandemic popped off. So he goes out and he expresses himself on Twitter and says something stupid. So that's basically the process that we have with these artists, these latter where I can relate to, and he later apologized for the statement, for what it's worth. But he said he thinks he thinks something in his head. He relates it to his own experience, and he just blurts it out without a certain amount of intellectual give and take that would occur if he was maybe around smarter people or maybe around somebody who was older who could challenge his thinking. But he's likely the oldest and smartest guy in his group, whatever it is. So he just really can go out and say what he wants to say, be it in the studio or when he's on his phone, and that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what it is that, to your point with the the younger kids having, I guess being a little bit more in tune. I think the issue comes back down to who's given a platform. I mean, it's not saying that they're dumber than previous generations or more vapid than previous generations. It's just that it always seems like
not necessarily more so. Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like more than just it's always like the lowest common denominator is always given the biggest platform. I mean,
that's kind of always been the case.
One of the greatest testaments to that, it just died, Mr. Rush Limbaugh. So
yeah, that's a good place to end because I wanted to send his ass off.
Yeah, the interesting thing about him is he died with $500 million and apparently no heirs.
Yeah. Who would want to have sex with him for one?
What do you mean? A lot of people had sex with him. He was married 4 times. That's not.
Now I mean they had sex with him.
Yeah. You know what? No, women not even.
But say so he was married but he didn't have kids. You say he had no heirs.
That's the point. The point. Yeah. I think that's the point. Yeah. He had no heirs. I mean,
like, who would want to reproduce with him?
Better stay because people have sex with all types of fucking weird people. I was gonna say that Confession Killer. If you ever watch that Confession Killer show on Netflix, you wonder who the fuck has sex with Henry Lee Lucas. But somebody has sex with Henry Lee Lucas. So,
yeah, that's true. A lot of people have had sex who really you wonder how they. Yeah.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the way somebody looks, their ideology, bread. If people would have laid Rush Limbaugh if he had money or not. I think just more the irony is that, he died. I mean, he left a lot of money, and who knows what's going to happen to it. I mean, he made a lot of more astonishing. He made a lot of money for being.
It'll probably get sucked up within the
courts.
No, not the courts. The conservative establishment in one way or another.
Oh, you talking about like One American News or Newsmax? They'll get donated money too.
There are various super PACs and contributions. It ain't
gonna say them niggas coming back, but yeah, you're right. He may have donated to all the to all of the RPACs and shit. It ain't gonna save them. It ain't gonna save them. I mean, that's damn near money. I mean, it'll keep them on TV. I mean, is it gonna give them? Are they gonna be able to recoup the political power they once had? I don't think so. I mean,
hopefully not.
People. I think that. Especially like even with like Texas, which is I guess damn near went blue this time. I think that if they don't go, states like them are definitely gonna go blue the next time around because they see what happens when you got a government that's always trying to pinch pennies and you have a major, weather event happen and it bites you in the ass. I mean,
Yeah,
well, we had,
they came damn close in 2020, and like you said, that was before they got another dose of corporate malfeasance, and how that works within a conservative state like that, where you're basically left to yourself
do
when
your job. That's what
yeah.
that's their
I mean,
favorite shit.
how many times do we have to see it? Like, how many disasters do we have to see where people are left to themselves in areas where, Republicans or, so-called independents, or not independents, but libertarians or whoever are calling the shots, and they, when it comes down to it, they have their allegiance is much more towards an oil company or a natural gas company than it is to the citizens.
And look, ain't got nothing. I mean, it's that, but it's also living. I mean, when you're in a state that don't have no damn income tax, I mean, that's part of the reason why. Like, I mean, I understand the appeal of it, like states like that, when you don't, when you're not getting taxed by the state and the government, you're just getting
Yeah,
hit one time. So I get the appeal. That's why people. I mean, people move to Indiana out
but
of Chicago.
they think they right that's what they think is it's a welcome sign for people from other states where they are taxed heavily to say, well, come here, you don't have to worry about that here.
Yep. And
But
yeah,
and,
but you got to pitch cut cost somewhere, and apparently
yeah,
the electricity is where it got. It is where the cuts got.
infrastructure, man. Yeah,
Yeah, got caught. And got cut. It's like,
but like I said, people like Rush Limbaugh is about shit like that. As long he was really he really was about getting himself over as much as anything else, and he earned what he earned in life. But I think it's not going to pay for him, and if there's any type of afterlife to be had, hopefully it is not paying for him, because I'm looking at the post that I sent you on IG that Michael Rappaport put up.
yeah.
That's these quotes that are always going to be attributed to him. He spent the majority of his adult life speaking to people, and we're not going to have any type of words of faith or inspiration or togetherness really to get from him. It's just a bunch of bullshit that he spoke. You're a foreigner. You shut your mouth or you get out. The NAACP should get a liquor store and practice robberies. Women still live longer than men because their lives are easier. Take that bone out of your nose.
I send that one to my wife. I get killed. I mean, if I ever say that one, you say that to any woman. You ever say that to any woman, you go get.
And this don't even have probably his most famous quote, which is spread on Twitter about the NFL being like a meeting of the Crips and Bloods.
Oh,
like, he was a bastard, man, and he tried to ingratiate himself on so many levels, like football, for instance, trying to be on ESPN, but he fucked it up because he couldn't hold back his willingness to insult black people, and in particular Donovan McNabb when he was doing that. Like he was if he was just a little bit smarter, he could have made an impact on a true impact on society, but his impact is going to be marginal because he was a person who just forever put himself on the wrong side of history, and as a society we're largely going to move on from people like him, and so
hopefully
he's not going to be. If there are going to be people who going to hold him up, but there's going to be less and less of them, I think, as the years go past, and I don't think, even ironically, you can look like there've been certain people who maybe have been offensive, who maybe they were at least clever in some way, or they were creative in some way, and you could look at them in context. Like we was last year, we was talking about Lovecraft, and Lovecraft Country. Like,
yeah,
he was a virulent racist, but he was at least creative enough where black people could come along eventually and take his work and repurpose it and make it into something that is entertaining and insightful about society. You can't do that with Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh did nothing to he did nothing that we really need to carry with us into the future. There's you could burn all his master tapes from all of his broadcasts today and we won't lose a damn thing.
I guess that's pretty sad when you die and you can't say you left anything positive, left to be remembered by.
Yeah.
I guess you could almost say that by. Well, I guess you can't really say that by Trump. At least you got some overpriced hotels out of him.
It's funny though.
And bad suits.
Man. Yeah, but you saw about the hotel. The joint in Atlantic City just got knocked down. That was supposed to be his crown jewel.
From back in the day.
Yeah, that's in the ground now. That's a bunch of dust and rubble now. But yeah.
He walked away from it. I mean, it's not like it's not like you try to hold on to something and they foreclose you. He walked away from it. So I don't know, I don't know how much of a legacy is something of his, because he's got plenty other quote unquote monuments. It'll be interesting to see how they're repurposed.
But most of them, if not all of them, will crumble too. Because he does. If it's that easy to walk away from, then who's going to keep it up?
Well, yeah, I just think it's just at this point, he's just licensing names. So like the Trump Hotel in Chicago, they'll a new hotel will come in, hotel will come in, they'll rebrand, they'll change the color of the walls, they'll redo the lobbies. It's funny, I was telling Nura on Saturday when we went to a hotel, it's like all hotel rooms look the same. I was like, the only like the interior lobbies look different. Unless you're going to like a resort, all hotels look the same. The rooms look really similar. There's nothing like memorable about it, unless you got like a big suite or a penthouse or something like that. But average room in most hotels look the same. Whether you're going when you start at 3.5, 4 stars on up, they all look the same. And I think that's what's to say that with Trump's hotels, they're just going to take the names off. They're going to rebrand them as something else. Whenever hotels come, even I guess
and that's not really a legacy. That's just that's very temporary. That's the anti-legacy. So and those people deserve it, because what they didn't make an effort to better the world around them. All they did was leech off the world and try to exploit its resources and the gullibility of people whoever the gullibility they could exploit around them. Like, I heard about and since our last show about Jimmy Kimmel's mentioned this about Trump. So many people believing that Trump is going to be re-inaugurated on March 4th, which was a previous date where back in the day, president.
The
old inauguration date, essentially.
Right.
And I guess a bunch of QAnons or whoever believe he's going to be inaugurated on that date, and we'll get rid of the so-called fraud president we have now, even though he was the biggest fraud president we've ever had. But they believe the president we have now is a fraud, and Trump will be reelected and sworn back into power on March 4th. And apparently the Trump Hotel in D.C. has raised all their prices for March 4th. So they see all he sees is a chance to get more money out of these people. Just like the people who donated for his legal fees since election day, and most of that money's just going into his pocket. There's more power to him, because he ain't getting it from me, and he ain't getting it from nobody who thinks like me. So he wants to juice the foolish and racist and the most virulent fools and racists in this country, then let it and have at it.
See, you're missing out on what's called a window of opportunity. Phil, I was talking to Phil a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about starting up a Black conservative news website. And
Yeah,
he was going, and
see,
he was
yeah.
going, and he was going, and he was going, and he was going to ask us to write for it, to write content for it.
Well, I have to make a nom de plume, man. I can't be associated with it.
You know that's so. I'm like that's.
See, but yeah, that's definitely a way to make money to be a Black conservative.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, and you see, it wasn't to say they don't. You can already see like with the Proud Boys. I mean, Terry Hill wasn't Black, but I mean Cuban. And I'm like, so like they don't.
Cuban weed.
Exactly. So if you want to be the Judas, if you want to be the Judas of the movement,
yeah. William O'Neill got some good money from the FBI. Yeah.
Oh, for that time period, and FBI, but no,
really for any period he did, but for that time, but he got some. Yeah, you'll see in the movie. But
okay, well, I'll definitely have to watch. Hopefully, you can get her to stay up one night. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the thing is, it's money in that. I mean, the reason why Candace Owens switched sides. They a lot of them.
The fat menstrual heifers.
Diamond and Silk.
Yeah, they got a show on. It's one of the channels, Newsmax or ONN, because I was.
They on them?
I was flicking through the other day, and I was like, it was like Diamond and Silk. Keep it real or some shit. Like it's like these heifers got a show on one of these networks. I'm good for them, man. They getting some money past Trump being in office, man. They done found a way, but I mean they staying true to it. They staying true to what they want to get.
They look like Jim Henson Muppets to me. Hey, what's to say? They look like they saw an episode of Sesame Street and said, "I want to look like that."
Right. We want to look like Snuffleupagus aunties.
Where they want to look like Black Jim Henson Muppets. That's exactly what they look act like. Or crank yankers. So I don't know what to really say. It's ways to make money. Just got the problem is it becomes hard to make that honest buck in an entrepreneurial sense. I mean that's the challenge. I mean you gotta be in you have to be in a couple handful of industries, and they either deal with some level of vice, or you got to be willing to sell your people out. Don't even sell your people out, just sell yourself out.
Sell something about yourself that is precious. Whether it's connection to your people. But that definitely helps though, and being Black and willing to sell out Black people, that definitely helps.
I mean, it's not. I don't even know if they think they're selling out Black people. They're just giving the other opinion, because there's a lot of people out there that drink the Kool-Aid. I mean, somebody out there, so their mindset is, it's kind of like you can't be a drug dealer without having people addicted to drugs. And I think it's the same concept is for them. Is like, they know there's people out there that think just like them. And, are they going to wait and let somebody else be the voice for those people? No. Because a lot of Black people.
Money, but you're not getting the money necessarily from those people that you're trying to, because it's like I don't know, why am I blanking on his name? Medea,
Tyler Perry.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. Like he makes and made work for a specific audience that he felt was being neglected,
right?
And he gets his money pretty much exclusively from those people,
right?
But if you're a Black conservative, you're not getting money from Black conservatives.
Black conservatives don't donate money to causes.
Yeah, you're getting money from white people.
They talk about the shit, but they never make it to the PayPal button to donate.
Right. Because them the Black conservative Black people are the cheapest motherfuckers in America.
Damn.
So you know, you getting like I say, Diamond and Silk, whatever is ONN or Newsmax, they're not. That's not owned by black people. They owned by
Nah.
white people. So you
Yeah,
get money.
yeah.
You're not getting. You getting money from the other side, and you getting money exclusively to take on opinions and advocate for positions that undermine your people.
Now you bring them up. I gotta look them up. They're one of my guilt. They're one of my guilty pleasures. I don't know. I shouldn't shouldn't watch them. Like I don't know. Like my wife, she used to watch Steve Harvey on The Price of Right. And like I'm not watching this shit. But that was like her guilt. I don't know, her guilty pleasure watching Steve Harvey on Price is Right. But like Diamond and Silk, every time they come on, they just I don't know. I giggle my ass off watching that. So
Well,
I don't watch.
the one that killed me was when they tried like Eminem did his rap against Trump at the BET Awards.
Yeah,
and they tried to make a response to it. They was so hopelessly over their head with that.
That just sounds like an oxymoron. White rapper talking about a white president and two black women coming to the president.
Yeah, it's deliciously twisted.
It's just
it's completely twisted.
She's like what's the one? She's like Andrea Pope to the to the president of Scandal. I don't know what the fuck his name is.
Oh, okay, Scandal. Yeah.
It's just like, it's coming to his rescue. Oh man, but but like I said, that's the avenue people don't understand. I mean, look, be an African American, you have to think outside the box to make money sometimes, and they found a bag. I mean,
yeah, that's why I say like if they might. Like if they last for the next conservative president, the next Republican president, if they last that long, I'm gonna give it up to them. Like
until the next one comes in in office. Oh Lord.
Yeah, because they if they find a way to last that long, they got it. You got to at least last 4 years. So that's a career. Like for a lot of people, that's a career. And but being the fact, like we've already talked about a couple of years, so. Yeah, that's a career, So, I mean, good for them. I mean,
I don't know. The problem with black conservatism is it's hard finding somebody who ain't somewhat off the reservation. I mean, I think that's the challenge. Like even the dude they had, who I guess spearheaded the march or whatever you want to call it on January 6th, he was a bit off. I'm like, no one they've had. It's either they either come in two extremes. They come either being off or they come in I don't want to say like I'm the son of sharecroppers route. And it's like they don't, and I don't want to like disrespect any of the senators like the Herschel Walkers of the world, but that's where I kind of see them in. And then you get like the other people who are on the fringe of politics, the Diamond and Silk is more of a side show, but like the Candace Owens and the Ali Akbars, those people, those are the ones you just like. There's no one in the middle. There's no.
Gotta play
moderate.
the extremes.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole point. They don't have anyone that can articulate, like it's that can articulate their points and their their views and their standpoints that look black. Without being a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Herman Cain.
Herman Cain, yeah.
No.
There's not a black, even he trips sometimes, but there's not a black Marco Rubio.
Right. Somebody who's moderate. There's no one that's like moderate, who articulates their standpoint, their viewpoints, and they'd be like, that's the one we want. Like if you could be that person, that'd be their messiah. That'd be the one that'd be the next president. If you could find, a black conservative, it's gonna have to be somebody minority. It's probably gonna be Latino because Latinos have a heavy conservative base.
Right.
Maybe it's somebody Cuban or something like that. But it's gonna be somebody probably Hispanic, Latino that's gonna end up running for the next. That they're gonna end up pushing for the next president.
Yeah,
and because they got to find somebody, middle of the road who's not batshit crazy, who doesn't have a lot of skeletons in their closet, and who doesn't look like everybody else they've run. I mean,
yeah.
so they gotta find. So that's who's gonna be the next person they run. Um, we'll see
If they're smart enough, but I really think I really think that they're really just gonna go for a cleaner version of Trump. I think, at least in the next election, I think they're gonna find just a little bit cleaner version of that. I think, because they're all still in his pocket. They don't want to offend the majority of them. Don't want to offend them, even the ones in Washington. They let them off the hook again with this shit, with this impeachment shit. They riding with him. And he's gonna be however long his heart keeps ticking. He's gonna be out there talking shit, and he's gonna endorse someone in the next election. Then that's who they gonna likely ride with, unless he gets his ass locked up.
It's like, I don't know. It's like the golden era of wrestling. I mean, Trump was like the golden era of wrestling. You watch like
Trump is very Bobby Heenan-ish. Yeah.
Like he is like the golden era. It was like 80s wrestling. He's like 80s wrestling, like Ric Flair, all those guys, Hulk Hogan, all of those guys that was just like, these men are batshit crazy. You think they was all, if you didn't know Trump didn't do drugs, you would think Trump did drugs. I mean, he was riding a white horse.
I still don't believe that he don't do that. At least back in the day, maybe now he don't because his health. But I'm pretty sure back in the day he did.
I mean, I don't know. Like I would hope he'd have better taste of music if he was doing drugs, because shit they was playing at the pre-storm, the Capitol rally was some weird shit. You playing Gloria and YMCA. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
But he don't know much from taste in anything, so
he just one that's like, is the wife picking the music? I'm like, come on, man.
She probably did. That's what she heard on the boat over from America.
I'm like, you a white guy from New York in your 70s. I'm pretty sure I would think you would have some better music taste than that. Listen to the Stones or some shit. No, you listening to Gloria and fucking YMCA. It's like, where are you getting your music taste from? It's like,
you know what? That's a good, like, what would he? Because everybody has stuff that they do or they listen to when they just relax, and then they chill or they kick, whatever they do to relax themselves. Like, does he even relax himself? Like, that's a good question. Like, but if he did, like, what would he do? Just sitting, and what would he listen to? Like,
he listened to Patrick Bateman's soundtrack.
Right. That's what it'd be something. It'd be something fucked up like that, It'd be something fucked up like Patrick Bateman. Yeah.
He'd be listening. He'd be watching people dying of COVID, listening to Lady in Red.
Right. Yeah. Something that's completely,
like, non-congruent and incongruent. What the fuck's going on? What the fuck's going on in the world? Like, Gloria or YMCA is not like relevant to what
is to YMCA. Like, he doesn't know how to. I don't even think he knows how to relate physically to music. Like, he doesn't. It's like a misprogrammed cyborg dancing to music. Like,
I don't know how you can live a good life for the majority of your damn life and not know how to fucking dance. I'm like,
that's the case. A lot of rich white dudes would be Alvin Ailey.
Be great. Should be great.
Yeah, you have a lot of Alvin Aileys on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. This shit, man.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of which, it's never been a greater time to get an apartment in New York. I've
heard about there's some places where you can come up on some stuff now because of the way things are being.
They dropping price. They'd having fire sales in apartments. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, shit's still high, but it ain't as high as it used to be. It's like they're
Right.
dropping prices like 20%. So people leaving the city. People, I guess, said, "Fuck it, I don't have to. I don't have to go into office anymore. All right, I'm gone." And
Yeah.
he said, "What's it, a million plus people left New York in the last year?" I was like, "That's
Wow.
so." Yeah,
That's shit, man. Well,
yeah.
let's wrap it up, D. Man. I don't know. I don't know how much of this is going to actually be on YouTube. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's fine. Just running. Yeah, it's just going all over the map from Gibbs to Drill to Rush to fucking
Yeah,
Trump.
we did a lot of hopping around, but we kind of had some more stuff that because we didn't even
Touch the food.
we
Yeah.
talk next week about your food adventures in Southern Cali, but
Yeah. Not too many places on that dude's list, but I mean, I got some good places because I mean, a lot of those places are north. And I'm further south, but yeah, I got some.
Well, there was I came across a tweet on Twitter, and this guy was in that area in that part of the world, I guess, was mentioning $15 sandwiches. I guess he's like, fuck a $15 sandwich, and I don't know exactly what if he was just making a general reference or a specific reference, but he brought up a bunch of more affordable sandwich options and stuff, and a lot of them look like the ones you say you went to Egg Slut,
And the hat.
The hat looks like you say that spot that looks like that kind of spot there.
Yeah, the hat. Yeah, you gain a couple of pounds eating one of them damn sandwiches. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, the hat is great. I mean, it's a great pastrami. It's great dip pastrami sandwich they serve there. I mean, it's a nice hike, but to get over there, but.
I saw the French dip before on an episode of Fuck That's Delicious, the Action Bronson show.
Yeah.
They had Alchemist that went there. They had a show where like they was on separate coasts, like Alchemist and was in LA and Action was in the East Coast one. And Alchemist it was a funny episode. He went there. He went to that place too that he mentioned with the French dip. We went with Big Twin, who rapped with Mobb Deep, and Esteban Oriol, the famous tattoo artist.
Right.
And yeah, that looked like a place I'd want to check out too when I finally get out.
It's some great eating spots. I mean, they spread out all over the damn place. It's not like you're gonna be able to hop on the train or hop on a bus or an Uber to get to that motherfucker. It's like the hat is about an hour away from where I'm at. I only went there because I was meeting somebody up there, and it was that was the only reason why I was even up that way. But they have more than one location. I think they have 3 or 4 locations. So
okay, yeah, we'll talk some more about that next week. I will hear some of your exploits because I know you like to eat. So
So I'll be ready with Judas and Black Messiah next week, and
let's get it. Yeah, we'll get into that and
the FX show too. Yeah, I'll be ready on both of them.
Yeah, we might bring my guy Farouk on too. He's been a friend of ours for a minute here at War Regal, and he's been he's been in the broadcast game. He used to work for VON. He's worked for WBBM here in Chicago, but he's gotten into beat making now. So he's doing some rap production and will help. He got a new project coming out, so he'll likely be on the show next week as well. So we'll put it together though, another show for next week, and whatever this is, like I said, it'll be on YouTube and it'll be on Anchor soon enough, and check out the rest of our stuff. I still got to put the JD episode up because I wanted to put some musical stuff in there So I'll probably do that the next day or two. So look out for that, and look out for all our regular shows. Second City Sports. In the Scope is going to be pretty good this week with Josh Hicks. He's got Craig Hodges on this week talking about the national anthem issues and the NBA. And we got a
still.
You haven't kept up with it, but it's been Dallas wasn't actually. Mark Cuban owns Dallas. They weren't doing the national anthem for the beginning of the season, and that people. It took 13 games. People didn't know, which kind of tells you something about the anthem and its place. But that came out and it made the whole thing, and the NBA, struck down their edict. Was like, everybody has to play the anthem, especially now that they're starting to let people back in the arenas, because they didn't let people in the arenas before at the beginning of the year. So
right.
They don't want to offend. They don't want to offend the good white Christian.
In Texas, in Dallas, no, man, that's tantamount to sedition. I mean, even more than storming the Capitol.
Yeah,
but
God forbid we don't acknowledge the flag and put our hands over our hearts before the Dallas Oklahoma State contest.
Dude, they have their own. I mean, you got the Lone Star State flag. I mean, it looks. Well, I was thinking about that in Texas, but patriotism is big in Texas. It's American as apple pie. There, you gotta salute the flag.
Yeah, until it doesn't suit them, then.
I think in their minds, storming the Capitol is an act of patriotism. I mean, that's what they all believed in their brains. You ain't gonna tell them anything different.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how twisted they are, that they can't see the natural hypocrisy that's involved there. But anyway.
No, there's that. Their brain it doesn't operate like that. I mean,
yeah. But you can check Craig Hodges on In the Scope with Josh Hicks on Friday, and I said just check us out next week. We should be back on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure at this point, but one of these days next week. And, that's it for now, though. Dave, you got anything else you want to say?
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Irene.
There you go. All right.
Keep warm, y'all. Keep warm.
Yes.
We'll talk to y'all later.
All right.